I think when visitors come to a place like Newcastle Gateshead, they see a very vibrant city, a place that's actually very accessible to get around.
I think the quality of destinations, the buzz, it's a beautiful region, isn't it? And I think that is a surprise.
Somebody coming into Tyne and Wear at the minute might not know that on a 20-minute metro ride they can get to some of the most beautiful coastline in the country.
I personally meet quite a number of visitors looking a little disorientated, looking a little lost. You would think that with the right sort of information, the right sort of signs, they would get a lot more out of the city.
So where you're pleasantly surprised by the environment and the quality and the beauty of this region, you're let down, I think, by those gaps to help you really make the most of your visit.
For most people, Tyne and Wear probably doesn't exist as a destination in its own right.
I think Legible Cities could make an enormous impact on this region, and I think it's about building on what's already here. I think there's not only the assets of the region, the beautiful coastline, its proximity to Northumberland, the National Park, Hadrian's Wall, but also things like the metro system, which is a unique transportation system for this country.
I think when you see a sign, when you see a map, you take it at face value. I think what people don't understand is the amount of work which goes into that to make it legible, to make it understandable. The understanding about how cities work, how cities join up, the relationship between people's modes of transport in arriving in a city and then how they get around the city. So I think just the depth of their understanding, the depth of their knowledge, the appreciation that each cities are different and it's not one fix for all cities. There are different ways to do it.
I think what we try to do is design from a user perspective throughout the journey experience in places.
It's about really highlighting the really great things in where we live and visit.
But often it's the small thing, like how the timetable's designed, your experience on a website, which really impacts on the feeling you take away from a place. City ID were first approached by Newcastle City Council and along with Gateshead as a partnership to look at how information could help to link together the two places. And the concept and strategy that was developed was called the 8th Bridge, and it was an information bridge.
When we were working with City ID, we were pursuing the Quayside Transit, the Quayside bus link, the light transit system linking the Newcastle with Gateshead, linking the upper towns with the Quayside.
And that's really about thinking from the point of view of the user again, rather than the organisation and the political point of view. This region has gone through an enormous change and is going through a process of change, and to be part of that and to help think about how that change can be made more real and more immediate for people by providing that kind of overlay, if you like, of information projects, I think is a really exciting challenge.
I think the problems in Newcastle and Gateshead, and for that matter Sunderland, are not dissimilar in many ways, and that a lot of the journey experience, the points of touch from one point to another, are actually quite poor.
I think if you arrive in a city or a place that you don't know and you can't find your way around, you get a very bad impression. If we can create a situation where somebody arrives here, whether it's for a job interview or a weekend break, and they can move around the area and understand the area very quickly, that creates a very positive impression.
There's a realisation that if we bring in visitors to the area, the offer of the whole is much greater than the offer of any one part of it. So from our point of view, if people come to Newcastle, we'd want them to spend a day, 2 days, 3 days in Newcastle, but we then want them to go and spend time elsewhere in the sub-region. And I think it's about getting a common understanding of the benefits. And what will join that together is a system of information, a system of wayfinding networking where people arriving at Sunderland or arriving at Newcastle can actually understand the geography of the area, understand how to move around the area and get information where they want it, when they want it. And it becomes a seamless journey for them. It's
not about one size fits all, so looking at specifically at a region, what is relevant to Newcastle won't be relevant to South Shields, for example.
We're talking about attracting people into key destinations, and then hopefully by providing information in the right way we can cross-fertilise the stay and the visit into other parts of the region, and therefore extend the stay and extend the spend in the region, which has got to be good for the local economy. We're in this stage of the project where it's still emerging, and we've done a lot of work to analyse how the region's performing in terms of how it communicates with its customers, and we've come up with a number of ideas and what we call propositions.
We have 5 propositions in order to try and break down and simplify the kind of thought process that's gone into Legible Cities, really. Points of view is all about looking at information from the point of view of the user rather than anybody else.
What we're trying to do is develop the idea of relevant geographies and relevant information from a user perspective.
The second proposition is about identities, and if the first, taking the user's point of view, is what you say, the second is how you say it.
We should be using identities that make sense from the point of view of the user. The partners proposition is probably one of the most exciting ones because it looks at how we can influence or have some kind of control over people that are saying the things about the destinations within Tyne and Wear.
Most people's information is provided by people like EasyJet, I've been there, on the Guardian website, Expedia, or the hotel down the road, and it's knowing who those people are that are talking about you so that you can ensure that you're helping them to say what you want them to say about the place.
The storytelling proposition is very important because in my mind this is where the project does take on life, because it's very much about creating a set of products and new services that will be developed for the user, various different users, be it residents, business users, conference goers, cinema goers, so they can actually engage with the city, understand the places here across the region, and actually use various information tools and services that are provided to plan their journey. Proposition 5 is the most fundamental of the propositions, in that it's no use developing new products and new services if actually you can't maintain and manage them.
That proposition is about putting the right people in place and the right tools and resources to ensure that the projects have a long life and they maintain their quality.
It's a major opportunity to change the way people are talking about this region.
And it's telling the story in the way that's relevant to the user at the right point in the journey and through the right channel, medium.
How by all the partners that we've identified working together, by sharing resources, can we save money but provide a much clearer, more enjoyable and better user experience for anybody coming to Tyne and Wear. There will be a shared set of resources that you can go to help you with mapping or with signage or with transport or infrastructure that wasn't there before.
When people come here, they have a good time because they don't waste time. Certainly everybody who's been and seen the work that we've been doing on this has gone away with a real sense of excitement that we could do something very special here, that we can create the 8th bridge across the Tyne, that we can create a real sense of unity in Tyne and Wear. So it's about motivating people, it's about getting people to understand it.
To sum up Legible Cities, it's about making the whole journey experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible.